Hi, everybody. Okay, so YNR did not disappoint today. So, okay, let's get to it. Let's see here. Kyle and, no, I'm going to start with the start. Okay, so there was a party for the launch of, Abbott Communications with Billy and Sally, right? Unbeknownst to them, the party had been canceled by Kane. And it was kind of genius directing because we see Sally and Billy enter a room with nobody. There was nobody there except for Kane. And of course, they're all in shock. They're in shock because they're like, where are all the people? Like, what's going on? And then Sally's like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, what? And he's like, oh, well, I'm doing you a favor because I just don't want us to be competition, and I it was for your own good. I'm like, yeah, okay. Meanwhile, Jack and Diane are kind of between, I don't know. I'm confused, angry, and frustrated. Now, confused because they were getting ready to go to the party, and then they get a text message that it's canceled. Then Jack is frustrated with Billy because he's trying to reach him to see what happened, and he's not getting any answers, like anything. And so, and then I'm angry because, you know, he just sunk a whole lot of money into this company and says he has faith in his brother and all this stuff. And then this happens. So automatically they jump into, well, Billy has something to do with it. And Diane actually was the one who, at first, she was like, I don't know, maybe he did something. And then she says, well, maybe somebody else did something. Maybe it wasn't under his control. And I'm like, yes. But of course, they don't know, like, what's going on. So, um, okay. Story number 2, which we don't get a resolution to story number 1 today, anyway. So story number 2, Kyle and Claire. Now, this is a couple that I want to work out, but the more I see, I don't think it will, only because Kyle seems to put his foot in his mouth at every turn. Okay, example A for today. Um, and by the way, Kyle and Holden happened to be at the same place at the same time. Don't know why, but they were. So Kyle can see that Holden wants to be with his girlfriend or wants her to be his girlfriend. And according to him, Holden is willing to do anything to get her to be his girlfriend. So, in essence, he's saying that he thinks Holden is willing to break them up so then he can be with Claire. And of course, being her boyfriend and trying to be protective of her, he doesn't like this, right? But he goes about it the completely wrong way because and then Claire happens to join, and he says, I don't think you should be friends with him. Kyle about Holden. And she's like, how dare you try to tell me who I can be friends with? And I'm thinking, oh no, oh no. Okay. So then, um, Kyle is trying to be the voice of reason, trying to say, we don't know him. We don't know about his past. He says that, he worked for Kane's company, but that's all we know about him. And for all we know, they did some really weird, bad things in Los Angeles. Because remember, you have to believe they're in Genoa City, Wisconsin. Okay. So I'm taking all this in and going, okay, you have some valid points, but your methodology and tone are not the greatest. Because I put myself in this situation and I say to myself, if I was dating somebody and that somebody thought that somebody else was trying to be with me or whatever, then they might get a little possessive. But I believe that when you cross the line is when you try to tell her who to be friends with. Because not only are you treating her like a kid and she's an adult, you're saying I don't trust your judgment. That's not a good thing. If you're trying to be in a relationship with somebody, the ultimate block is trust. Well, one of them. The other one is communication. In my in my life, but so you have to build the trust by giving trust to the other person, and only if the other person has ruined your trust, then you don't go that route. But this is like a brand new relationship, and so I don't think it's right for you to make demands on her and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. Not even if she was your wife. I would still say don't go that route. Um so yeah. Uh okay. So the final scene is, oh, and by the way, Phyllis did tell Billy and Sally what Kane's plan was and that he is working on AI software. And then they detailed what the AI software would do. So they did get that out. I just kind of think it's a moot point, so that's why I didn't mention it at first. Okay. So then Kyle, we're at the point where Claire decides to go to the park where Holden is to apologize to him. And then Kyle goes home. So Kyle is talking to his parents a little bit. And Jack says, I think you need to talk to somebody because it seems like you've won a couple rounds. And then he said, I, it feels like no matter what I do, I always do the wrong thing. And I don't know what to do anymore. And then he detailed that he told Claire who she should be friends with, and his mother even cringed. She says, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. So, okay, when you have every woman in agreement that you should not do that, it's a sign. Don't do that. But I also do believe that, on the other hand, possibilities. Okay, because we're talking about possibilities here. Um, on the other hand, I think the writers are putting him and putting them in situations where they never turn out right, and you start to wonder, are they going to make it? Because, as I discussed in an earlier video, um, relationships can handle a lot, but it also matters how much time you've been with that person. Okay, this relationship is relatively new. I mean, not new, but not exactly, they haven't been together 5 years or something yet. Okay, and I don't think a relationship can take that many stressors. I really don't. So, I mean, if they're trying to write it so that Claire ends up with Holden, they're not being subtle about it at all. And that's what I don't like. And I also don't like the fact that they're making Kyle look like a complete idiot at every turn. I don't like it because I always liked Michael Mueller in his portrayal of Kyle. And the fact that you're making him look like a dope, I don't appreciate it, you know? He's doing the best he can. He loves this woman. Hell, he proposed to her. Okay? So of course he wants the best for her, but you're making it sound like she's not going to listen to him because he's overstepping his bounds, you know? But come on, give the guy a little grace here. Okay, that's my 2 cents. All right, bye everybody.